Every season, the AFL tinker with its rulebook, and every season it brings up more questions, more confusion, from 666 warnings to the stand rule to the great debate around subs, and don't mention father, sons and NGAs. Greg Swann and the Rules Committee are overflowing with agenda, but instead of endless work groups, trial periods, why don't we just make the call and leave the game as it is? Tonight, I'm going to step into Greg Swann's shoes and lay out the changes in the AFL and have a look at how it may look. Let's get into it. We've become accustomed to change, particularly in the last decade alone. We've had so many rule tweaks and changes, stand on the mark laws, tweaks to holding the ball, endless debates around deliberate out of bounds, and don't get started on touching the umpires, and also the reintroduction, removal, and then the change of the medical sub. The AFL loves a tweak, but sometimes this tinkering creates more confusion than clarity and changes the very fabric of our great game. So let's treat this like a real boardroom meeting. On the agenda, we've got several key issues, from centre bounce warnings to draft system. I'll explain why each topic is on the table, and then I'll give you my suggestion as if I was Greg Swann himself. I'll make that tough call and deliver the solution. And you guys and girls at home, you're going to be the judge of if that's a good idea. No pilot programs, no soft warnings, just real fixes that I think might help tweak the game and leave it as it is. Before we start, I do want to say that I do believe all these rules should be locked in for a 3-year period without changing. The way we change the game every 6 months is just disgusting, but the first agenda we're going to talk about is the 666 warnings. Now, this has come into fruition because it was introduced over 5 years ago now to make the centre bounces more cleaner, to increase scoring, basic simple things, 6 players in each zone, back, middle and forward. In theory, it opens up the field. In practice, though, we're seeing these soft warnings being given silently for weeks without anything. It just slowed the game down, and frankly, after 6 years, if no one can count one more than themselves on their hand, we've got problems. For me, warnings need to be totally removed. If you mess up the setup, it's an instant free kick. By now, coaches, players should be well versed and well drilled. Within a week of this rule going, it's professional sport. It doesn't need hand-holding. If you break the rule, you pay the price. The best way to pay the price is give these free kicks. It quickens it up, it sharpens up the contest, and more importantly, punishment is usually the quickest way to get the fruit of the AFL by just conceding 6 points. Up next is the stand rule. Now, this is one of the more recent changes, forcing players to remain on the mark motionless. It was meant to speed the game up, open corridors. Sometimes it works, sometimes the umpire interpretation is so frustrating. Guessing intent, flinches here and there, leans, soft 50s. It feels inconsistent and it fuels the anger. I like the rule, right? So I'm going to keep it, right? It does encourage attacking play, but I think we need to simplify the interpretation from the person who has the free kick. For me, any plant forward on the front foot from when you are set up to take the free kick should be play on. No guesswork, no grey area, no shimmy and feinting. If you move forward, it's game over. If you choose not to take the kick and you pull out of it, game over. Because for me, it needs to come at the cost of allowing the kicker to play on immediately. That's the benefit. But also, you can't just feint it. Fans get a consistency, umpires get a bit more clarity, and players have to make their decisions quicker. Next one is the future of the sub. This is one that's been in and out of our game for what feels like an eternity. And it does feel like one of the most confusing experiments. When we had it as a medical sub, it was obvious people were going to cheat. He's got a headache, he's got a dicky tummy. They quickly morphed it now into this quasi-tactical sub, which does for me so many things. One, it ruins data, it ruins stats, they play half a game. Coaches, use it all higgledy-piggledy. It's just a pointless rule, and we're doing a best 23 now. I think we remove the sub entirely. Add a 5th interchange spot, 5 on the bed, keep the same rotations. This will introduce more tactical flexibility. With the same rotations as well, a coach now can carry the extra ruck, a running machine, a shutdown defender, an extra goal kicker. It keeps the game fairer, avoids farce, pretending we're injuries, modern day rotations with gimmicks. It creates all these kind of snowball effects that we get from it, and I think it adds an element of tactical nuance that the player will be there from the start. Number 4, big one, ruck contests and nominations. Now, this has been talked about because Greg Swann wants to see the old school running at the centre contest, and the centre bounce for me is symbolic, but I do find it problematic for time saving. Bounces skew contests, creates unfairness. You start to see that the bigger ruckman now will just set up camp in the middle. Also, adding ruck nominations where players indicate who they're contesting, and you have a real slow, awkward spectacle around stoppage as well. Greg Swann has been a big one on this. He really wants to see 2 rucks run, junt and compete. I agree with him, right? I want to see a ball up every time. No bounce, ball up from centre, and then get rid of the ruck nominations. Round stoppage, ready to play, all ready to play. It's simple, it's fair, it preserves the purity of the contest. There's got to be 2 people in. Don't give them time. This whole 10-second, 15-second gone, are you rucking? When there's Reece Stanley or Patrick Dangerfield, mental. Just when you're ready to play, you're ready to play. Get it going, moving fast. We do it when there's fisticuffs. Do it there. They've all got a time limit. Everyone needs to be ready. If you're not ready to play, game over. This is probably the more controversial rule that they're talking about, the last disposal rule. Now, Sandford does have the last kick into touch, free kick. I'm not a big fan. They've trialled variations of this throughout the state leagues. I understand it discourages contested play and punishes deliberate out of bounds, but also sometimes the game is hard and you've got to kick it out. And sometimes we're seeing balls bounce 30 metres away from the touch, run out, and then that's been there. That's just bad luck. There's a recognition, though, that this stoppages, defences, exits, it slows the game and encourages it. He wants to... Greg Swann has mentioned this before about trying to speed the game up. I think we should only have the deliberate out of bounds on defensive 50 exits, right? If you're under pressure and you hack it out, that's on you. But this should force teams to be braver through the corridor, look for targets, reward forward pressure because there's panicked. Outside 50, though, when I'm seeing teams kick from the midfield to their forward half pocket and it overruns and we're saying that's deliberate out of bounds, mental. We want football to be about pressure, and pressure's rewarded, and territory, not tippy-tappy kicks and a fear of penalties for clearing your lines. Punish the action. Don't get too nuanced with it. The big one in 6 is reducing kicking times. Now, players do seem to have a mini timeout with this. Players stroll back, take 20 seconds, they chat to the cheer squad. The AFL has tightened this to many times, but I think it does drain the energy from the game. It really does. And it's the same with set shots. They've reduced that. But I think we should take a leaf out of soccer for here. Spare balls, 6 of them behind the post. Minute behind scored, minute signal, it's play on. The defensive team has to set quicker. The attacking team can surge. Fans aren't sitting there waiting for a glorified set play. Let's try and make this more of an exciting event that it should be. Bang, behind, signalled, goal. I understand when we VAR it, but it's stupid. Number 7, a fairer draft. Now, the draft system is obviously warped. Over the last 3 years, we've seen it getting progressively worse. Is it an outlier or is it the norm? The Northern Academies have been really good because they have allowed more avenues to play the game. Free agency compensation for me also inflates pigs. Father-sons obviously push it back. Then we get priority access for being rubbish. That punishes the successful teams, and they waste it, and then the successful teams benefit for it. The draft is meant to be equality, and it's obviously flawed. Now, for me, I'm willing to see what the changes are now. We've changed the bid match system, reduced the points, made it harder, which should create a little bit more discourse. The amendment I'm willing to see, though, and I think it would help, is that you must own a first rounder to be part of NGA and matching. No trading back into bundles of second. That would be huge. That's my first amendment of this rule. But to coincide with that, I want all free agency compensation removed. If you lose a star, you deal with it like every other club. The only exception would be if you've been a non-finalist side in 3 years, you can receive combo. Because genuinely, that obviously means that a good club is stealing one of your good players. Stage 2 would be structural change. So struggling clubs don't receive handouts anymore. Increase their cap relief for 3 years. An example, $2 million buffer. This lets you keep your talent actively poach from the stronger clubs who, with a natural competition, will have a salary cap squeeze, and that would be good. Now, with the Northern Academy teams, should these amendments fail this year, allow them to protect one player 2 years before the draft, beyond the end of the pool, long term. That would suggest to me that you're putting pressure on the clubs, like with Zeke Hewland this year, to take the chance that he's going to be the best. The rest, you can do it. Should we want to change it, phase out father, son and NGA completely with the amendments I've suggested. See how warped it becomes when you saw North Melbourne miss out on Sanders last time they changed it. People are going to suffer. And in this scenario, let's say they change it next year, Carlton are going to suffer because they lose Cody Walker. So be it. If Cody Walker is as good as Carlton think he is, and as good as I know he is, you will trade up to him. Force teams to trade up. I don't think it's a big deal. I love the nuance of it, but I think in a real world, if this new system works and we do a phase 1 in my suggestion of making you have a first rounder, if it's still a problem, phase it out totally and force teams to trade. That way, the weaker teams will benefit because players will be involved in these trades to get that pick. Then we've got some fun amendments that Pom has done. So these are the agendas that he said. I've got a couple of my own. Right, the goal shot. It's currently 30 seconds. Cut it down to 20. Save time, make the players play, keep the fans engaged. It winds me up. It genuinely winds me up altogether. And it's stricter on enforcing the players there to walk back, set, kick the shot. It seems way too long. Taking your gumshoe out, putting it in there, praying to whatever. It does my head in. Make it 20 seconds, make them go. So there you have it. The Swann agenda that he's got to do, removing warnings, tightening the stand rule, kill the sub, fix Ruck, streamline disposal rules, all the lot. Some of these will be controversial to you, some will be applauded, but all of them I feel would make the game sharper, faster, and more importantly, the draft does need to be fairer. The AFL is always going to tinker, and tinkering without courage leads to more grey areas. These changes, for me, need some hard calls, and also, like I said, keep it on for 2 to 3 years. What do you reckon? What would you like to see? What would you like to bring back? What would you like to remove? What would you like to fight me on? Let me know. Drop your fixes below. And let's see if we can help Greg Swann fix his agenda. Make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, Pom out.
Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.